Hey there, cats and kitties. I am the Blues Man, Johnny Blues, and this is going to be a brief little discussion video on Suisei no Gargantia, Episode 1. The opening of the series is no less than magnificent and gorgeous as far as I'm concerned, as we find our hero Leto being awakened from a sort of cryo-sleep, ready to be and subsequently thrown straight into battle. In this war between an alien race called the Hideos and the Galactic Alliance of Humankind, the latter of which Leto is a part of, the problem is one of humanity's ever branching out, seeking to grow beyond the confines of its home, to touch the untapped potential of the universe. For whatever reason, for all intents and purposes, it seems humankind sees the Hideos as standing in the way of this. They apparently have done so with lethal intent previously, enough so that Leto's squadron of fighters is the biggest fleet yet to take the Hideos head-on. The spatial dogfighting is beautiful and grand in scope. Sci-fi tropes like wormholes and other complex minutiae run rampant through the sequence. But this is guided too by the human quotient, that which writer Gen Urobuchi knows and explores so well, as we see Leto horrified that their attacks on the Hideos are more unsuccessful than advantageous, and his compatriots are dying off by large degrees. This ultimately brings his commanding officer to order him to retreat with as many of the surviving fleet ships as are also doing so. Leto wants nothing more than to keep fighting. He's a soldier after all. It's the only life he's ever known. And there's a moment when his commander says as much of himself, which leaves Leto rendered speechless. And though he resigns himself to the order, one of the alien creatures manages to attack the machine caliber he pilots, and subsequently rips him away from his squadron. He falls through the spinning spatial tundra of the pulsing wormhole, and is enveloped by darkness. That is, until he's awoken from another cryosleep approximately 6 months later. From the start, the Gargantia sequence of the episode begins with an underwriting sense of humor. We meet the inquisitive and excitable Amy, who wants oh so badly to get a look at the mysterious machine, the machine caliber, that has been recently uncovered by her people. There are orders to be passed around, though, these being given to Bellows, a woman with red hair that seems to command the scene, to the effect of how long the building they're occupying will have to sit occupied and such. And Amy is sent away by the lead mechanic, the very Sid Highwind-looking Pinion, only to return later after everyone's pretty much gone home. There's a tense undercurrent as Leto surprises them both, having now come out of the machine caliber, taking Amy, albeit temporarily, hostage and making a run for it. But I love this whole sequence of conversation, or lack thereof as it were, as very smartly Leto's computer has to try to analyze and decipher what is otherwise a language block, its understanding only beginning to take shape when the frustrated Amy apparently curses Leto's mother and compares him to excrement. Such cultural differences are only the beginning, seemingly, as Leto stumbles out onto a viewing deck of sorts and has an entire Earth revealed to him. Such a thing has only existed as a myth in the recesses of his mind up to that point. The only vestiges of living in comfortable quarters until then having been the human colony of Avalon, and as the shock of his predicament rains down on his psyche and he is persuaded by Amy's pet squirrel to let her go, he soon finds himself facing the drawn weapons of the people of this new environment. They probably consider him a threat. They may even consider him a spy. It's hard to say. But his reaction to this is instinctual and calculated all at once, and no less awe-inspiring, as his machine caliber explodes through the roof of the building within which it was contained and dances across the sky before landing behind him. The cliffhanger at that very moment spawning excitement and anticipation for the moments that will begin to unfold next in the coming episodes. I have to say I was thoroughly impressed with this from right out of the gate, as I suspected I'd be. The character designs and set pieces living up to my earlier appraisals of being reminiscent to something out of Final Fantasy, Dragon Quest, and more. The animation is gorgeous, and the movement of the inhabitants of this world fluid with momentum. And what's more, from the outset there is no lack of intriguing dilemmas and relatable circumstances. Culture shock, sacrifice, being up against great adversity, and seeking to understand what is unknown. This episode rocked it out of the park with a whiff-bam-boom, as far as I'm concerned, and I cannot wait to see more. And so I'd love to hear from you guys in the comments below what you thought of Suisei no Gargantia's first episode, if you've seen it. And otherwise, that'll be it from me on this one. I hope you're all doing well. Hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll catch you later. Peace.